Hello, I wanted to jump on and just share just a little bit of what my life's been like these last 2 years. So I had been over COVID, I had been forced my one-to-one in person therapy practice was forced online. I started running online containers, and I had lots of people coming to my events, and all about kind of transformation. And then I was thinking, actually, I really want to work with men. And I went down this route of doing the same kind of promotion, working specifically with men. And it absolutely bombed. It completely failed. And I had been making over six figures from my online containers the year before. And I just thought this was going to work. And I mean, by bombed, I mean, I went from having previous year like 1,500 people turning up on my online Zooms and signing up for my webinars. And then when I pressed go on the webinar, I had one man. And my heart was broke. I mean, my heart broke. I mean, that poor guy. I mean, I should have just cancelled it and just cried in the corner into my cornflakes, but I didn't. I delivered it. But I had nothing to sell because I was trying to sell a group process, and it was like, can't do that with one guy. So there was no reason for him to really be there, but I did my best to make it useful for him. But this left a massive hole, a gaping hole in my finances, and I honestly didn't know what I was going to do. And I said to my partner, I am my now wife, I don't know what we're going to do. This is this. Uh, we've run out of road. She's like, what do you mean? I was like, it looks like we're going to go bankrupt. She was like, what? I was like, it just hasn't worked, darling. And so she said, what are you going to do? I said, well, I've been reading this amazing book by an amazing coach in America. Actually, it was written by his wife, who just wanted the world to know about how brilliant he was. It's called The Ultimate Coach, written by Amy Hardison, about Steve Hardison. And I read this book, and it really, really inspired me. He does incredible work with people, and it's really dedicated. I mean, if you want to work with him, it's 200 grand. He doesn't like to leave his wife, so he stays in Arizona. So you have to fly out every 2 weeks to have 2 hours with him. He may have even put his prices up now. That was a few years ago, and he's even more popular now. And I was so inspired by the way in which he had built a kind of an incredible service, working with amazing people and really helping them believe in themselves and take their projects to the next level. And people were earning more than it cost. Otherwise, why would they continue to invest with him year on year on? And I was really inspired about working with fewer people and delivering a much more bespoke service where I'd work with them for a whole day once a month. And I could really feel this calling in my heart. But it was between me and this crazy universe, and I listened, and I made a commitment to kind of be really open and overt about my relationship with spirituality, which is something I'd always hidden for fear of putting off people who were less spiritual or thought it was weird or thought it was woo-woo. Really afraid of my 17-year-old's atheistic judgments, my inner 17-year-old who at 17 just thought anyone who had any faith was pathetic. And so sensitive to the resistance and the confusion around spirituality. I don't believe in a separate divine God, but I do believe in a divine connected field, a field of consciousness that we're all part of. And that when you get beyond your resentments, your frustrations, and you trust and believe in that, the wisdom is there, the knowledge is there, there is a higher level of intelligence that we can access that is part of us, that can inform our next step and our next move. And so I just threw my hands up into the air and I said, okay. And I rebuilt my website. And the next morning, my wife, she came outside. She found me in the garden. It was 11 o'clock on a Tuesday. And she found me reading. And she was like, what are you doing? Meaning, what the fuck are you doing? Like, should you not be hustling right now to like bring in some money or something? And I looked and I went, I am being the person I need to be to attract the type of clients that I want to work with, who will want to invest heavily in their personal development and have the time and space and funds to be able to dive deep with me. On those days, I will meditate, I will exercise, I will read, I will nourish my soul. So I'm as resourced as possible to give them the best help. I'd love to tell you that I delivered that with total certainty. I was bricking it. And she could see that I needed her not to give me a hard time. And so she went, okay, bless her. Anyway, I proceeded to choose to be in the state of being in alignment with that way of being, and to trust God, to trust this universe. And I went to bed that night, and I just looked in my diary, as I do in the evening, just to see what's coming up the next day, because I can't always remember. And my diary, there was an appointment that popped up, which was for a discovery call. And that was only possible if someone had been onto my new website and had booked a discovery call. And you could only do that if you'd seen my new fees, which I'd 10x'd. And I'd never seen this before. So that person said, I've seen your website. I love what you stand for. I think you're the perfect person to help me. I'm excited to speak. And I spoke to him the next day, and he signed up. And then in the next 10 days, I had 3 other clients. So 4 clients in 10 days sign up. And it brought in a total of £67,000, which to me then was, one, it was an absolute miracle because it dug me out of the edge of bankruptcy. But in terms of earning that from 4 clients, it was groundbreaking. And most of those clients went on to work with me for longer. They renewed because they were getting results. They were seeing the value, and have gone on to have a better experience and make more money and be happier as a result of it, which has been an incredible thing. To be able to work with people in that way has been amazing. And the type of people I have attracted has been extraordinary. And to be involved in some amazing, groundbreaking, world-changing projects and being paid well for it has been extraordinary. And I'm not sharing this as a flex. I'm sharing this, not my flex, I'm sharing this as a flex to God. It's like inside your heart. One of my friends at the time, she said, what does love want to love? Like, how does love want to love through you? And it's like, I don't want to keep doing 25-hour sessions in Harley Street and seeing someone for just an hour a week, hoping that's going to shift the needle. People need more support. People need more guidance. They need more encouragement. They need more time working on changing themselves than just an hour a week. And I was like, I want to design something amazing. And I don't think I would have, it's like, not like I had the courage. It was my only choice. It was my only choice because everything else had failed. And I'm glad all those things failed, because it enabled me to be where I am now. And I don't have all the answers, and I'm still on the edge of uncertainty. I'm now bringing out a new book and a new training, which brings these tools to the mainstream. And I'm flipping nervous about that. And I'm not sure about most of it. I wanted to share this video because if you surrender to the higher intelligence that is in your heart, that is in your soul, whatever you believe to be the higher power of life, that we're a part of, we're not separate from it. I believe in a separate being. I believe there is a beingness in all of us, which is connected to more wisdom, more creativity, more capability. In principle, what unlocks that is the true desire to serve. How is your gift a gift for the world? And how is your story and your struggle a gift for the world? And I've shared here a little bit of my faith in this miracle, this magical breakthrough that I've been riding now for the last 2 years, that now puts me in a new position to do something new again. And so do whatever you can to clear the resentments, the frustrations, the fears, and the doubts from your heart. Tune in, listen to the divine spark of what you would most like to do in the world. Don't focus on how. I could not have made that happen. The most interesting thing is most of those people who came in those 10 days, they hadn't even seen the post that I launched. I wrote a launch post. They hadn't seen it. Some of them came from recommendations of people I've never met, who I've never even heard of. It was incredible. And I used to believe, build it and they will come. I have done that many times. That does not always work. I don't think you should think of this stuff as easy. The calling is not always about taking us to success. Sometimes it's taking us to the edge of failure or beyond the edge of failure and breaking the stuck parts of our character that need to be ironed out. So I'm not pretending to say it's easy and if you just leap, you'll be court and 6 figures will arrive in your bank account the next day. I don't mean that. I don't mean that at all. But I will tell you that miracles are possible and you will get what you need. Maybe not what you want, and it might not be linear and it might not be when you expect it, but it is worth it. It is worth it. Wait, believe, have faith, follow the voice in your heart, trust in God, trust in Godness, trust in the goodness inherent in your desire to serve. Think about how your story is of service to others. And what if you could press go on a microphone and speak to the soul of the world and you had 5 minutes, what has your life taught you? What would you like to share? What would be the one thing that you could shift or change in the world? Bring that passion to a project, and there are people out there that will listen and that will value what you have. And if they value what you have and you value what you can do for them, they will exchange value for what you can be passionate about teaching them. You don't need to be an expert. You just need to deeply care about helping people. And with today's technology, in a matter of months, you can build a system and a structure that means you could be living off your dream, living off your gifts. So trust in your soul's calling. Get excited about how love would love to move through you, and give it a go.